Hello and welcome to Solidworks Live, where today we're going to take the opportunity to look back at all the really exciting things we did in 2020 and then kind of take a look forward into 2021. I want to thank you for joining us on whatever platform you're on today, whether it's our website, live.solidworks.com, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. If you have any questions or comments throughout this broadcast, I encourage you, put them in the comments section on whatever platform you're viewing us on today, and we'll be answering those questions as we go throughout the broadcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Rigneris, and joining me today, I have three really special guests. We're going to talk about all the different live broadcasting programs we've done over the past year and that we're bringing to you next year. So I'd like to welcome to the show Mark Peterson, Andrew Gross, and John Martirano. Thanks, guys, for joining us here this morning.
Hey, Jeremy. Good morning.
Morning.
Happy to be here.
So how's everybody doing in this virtual world today? Just a quick recap. Where's everyone joining us from here? Mark, we'll start with you, then go to Andrew, and then John.
Yeah, I just recently moved to Nevada, so that's where I'm coming to you from, out of Las Vegas.
All right, so no snow for you.
No.
Andrew, how about yourself? Where are you joining us from this morning?
I'm out of Los Angeles, California, so no snow for me either, Jeremy.
Oh, man, I'm starting to feel like I'm the only one who's really cold right now. John, how about yourself?
No, you're not the only one, Jeremy. I'm right here in Waltham, Massachusetts in the studio, and we got 15 inches of snow on the ground. So
does not sound like a very great time, but we're going to have some fun today. We're going to join each one of these guests as we talk about different programs we ran in 2020 and how those programs are going to evolve in 2021. So if you have any questions for our guests as they're on, again, make sure you put them in the chat below. I'd like to dive in and take a look at where we really started our year in 2020. And forgive me if I keep saying last year, but that is at 3D Experience World. One of the things I want to walk away with today is this new expanded agenda we're going to be looking at moving into 2021. We're really excited to announce that every single Thursday in 2021, there's going to be something for you to tune in to watch on our YouTube channel at 11 a.m. Eastern time. This is going to be the same live interactive content you kind of come to expect with things like SolidWorks Live Design earlier in the year, and a new program that we're going to have. We'll discuss SolidWorks Live and how that's going to stay on all the social media platforms, but we are bringing you something every single Thursday. So I'm going to dive in. Let's take a look at what this calendar is going to look like. That means that every single week, there's going to be some form of engaging content for you, the audience, to learn something new about SolidWorks and our portfolio of tools, whether that's tips and tricks, special workflows, unique guests, or new tools that are going to be completely new to you. As I mentioned briefly, why don't we start where we started our year? 3D Experience World 2020. Let's take a quick look at some highlights from earlier this year when we were live in Nashville, Tennessee at 3D Experience World with SolidWorks Live.
Hello and welcome to SolidWorks Live, coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee for 3D Experience World 2020. I'm your host, Jeremy Rigneris, and I'm joined with our other hosts, Mark Peterson. Mark, welcome.
Thanks, Jeremy. How you doing?
This is new, yes, it is the 3D Experience Works, because we are evolving our strategy, we are evolving our offer, but we are still Solidworks.
So as we come down here and we look at the Tormach and what's running here, this machine actually is running multiple parts at once.
Okay.
So we'll get down here in a little bit and we'll see some things, but they're actually making two parts at the same time.
You're going to come up. I've got a very basic drawing that people can take a look at. And this is an open competition. It's not behind closed doors.
This isn't like the
traditional
Model Mania where Mark says we give you a drawing and you got to create the part.
Right,
Give you it blind. This one you get, you get it. You can see it ahead of time.
Yeah, sure. You can see the part. And it's very basic. So the question the challenge that's out there is, can you improve the aesthetics of this part?
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it is.
That's awesome! We collect thousands of enhancement requests from all of you every year, all users. And every one of those is accounted for. They all get read by the correct person and they get analyzed to see if they're duplicates and they get piled up. So we make sure we know where the demands are coming.
Give us a little insight as to what they're putting together today.
They're putting together a prosthetic hand out of 30 pieces of metal and plastic. It was designed about 17 or 18 years ago. We've been doing this program for about 15 years.
The energy is amazing at this particular event. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. And I just think it's fantastic. I think the classes are great, having the opportunity to learn more about their products, whatever their products are. And the networking is also unbelievable. It's
Very
just
cool.
Such a great event.
What was your favorite experience this whole week?
I think my favorite experience was the new 3D Experience for Good booth. I think that is just awesome. You know, you got to get in there, be hands-on on several days. They're still wrapping up a session here.
We look forward to seeing you all again next year.
So I'd like to bring on my guest, Mark Peterson, and do a recap of 3D Experience World 2020. Mark, welcome to SolidWorks Live.
Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so what a cool opportunity we have. It seems like so long ago. In fact, when we were talking about recapping, I kept saying last year, and you had to keep correcting me. No, that was actually earlier this year. We did a big event live and in person. Crazy to even think about that with the crazy year we've had, huh?
Yeah, it's been a wild year for everyone for sure. But it is really great to look back on it and think about all of the amazing fun that we had throughout the year at 3D Experience World and through this program, SolidWorks Live as well. So, just taking a look at that clip, and it just kind of reminded me of, being out there on the floor and doing all those interviews, not only with like kind of our, software partners and our hardware partners, where we got to see some really amazing new technology coming out, or, the next overclocked computer that, that we can use for, really getting productive with SolidWorks. But, also to, experience a lot of the other things in the partner pavilion, the shop floor tour that we got to take, and as well as, like I said before, my favorite part, which was the 3D Experience for Good booth, where, we got to see every kid gets a robot, where, you could participate and build a little kit to create like a little robot to get kids involved in science, technology, and math kind of careers and curriculums, as well as the helping hands as well, which was really neat because, you were able to actually build a prosthetic hand, and those were delivered all around the world to people in need, which is really amazing. So it's just really cool to not only, show how we can use SolidWorks to build products and, make businesses better and that sort of thing, which we talk about all the time, but also we're using SolidWorks to do good in the world. And I think that's just so cool to see that.
Yeah.
So
last year
I was
really
on the shop
unique.
floor a lot, and I was kind of rummaging around and roaming and all that sort of stuff. You got the benefit of being able to sit down most of the day in the booth. So maybe tell us a little bit about your experience when you were in the booth. I know you got to interview a lot of people from high ups in Dassault System to a lot of the people that were on stage as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really fortunate. This was, I think, my third or fourth year doing this. I'm going to start by saying earlier this year, we completely changed the game with how we did SolidWorks Live at 3D Experience World. We were broadcasting all day from first thing in the morning till the end of the evening. So that took a lot of work. And I want to thank you, Mark, for joining me as co-host for SolidWorks Live at 3D Experience World earlier this year. There's no way we could have covered the amount of content we had. But yeah, you mentioned we sent you out with a camera crew to kind of walk around all day. I sort of got to sit in the booth. I had a lot of really cool experiences, whether it was interviewing everybody from we saw in there. I got to interview some cool people there, but also like Bernard Charles, Jean-Paul Abbasi came to it. But I think my favorites were some of the keynote presenters and some of the social influencers. So for example, I got to meet with the folks from Biodapt, who created that prosthetic foot that we highlighted throughout the event. Also, the engineering firm that kind of helped them design that and bring that to life. But there were other cool experiences as I went out throughout the event. The folks who created sort of the Iron Man helmet, I probably can't actually say that that's what it was, but something along those lines. It was a really unique experience. It was a long week, and it was really fun and exciting. And I really appreciate having you along for the ride to make it as engaging of an experience as it could have been.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, and obviously it was a huge crew, that was involved in that whole process, as you saw at the end of the first clip that you played. Just a lot of people involved to make that happen. Again, like, streaming live for, 8 hours a day or whatever is not an easy task. And, we really had an amazing group of people, to put all that together. So, but my question now is, we've got 3D Experience World 2021 coming up. So, maybe you have some insight for me and also, I guess, our viewers on, how SolidWorks Live maybe going to be involved with that.
Sure. So 3D Experience World is going to be very different this year. Obviously, like most everybody else, we are going to a completely virtual experience. You'll be able to attend 3D Experience World February 9th through 11th virtually. And the important thing is anybody can attend for free. If you go to solidworks.com/3DXW21-virtual, you can go to a registration. You can register for free to attend a host of virtual general sessions each morning, breakout sessions where you're going to get those same high quality tips and tricks, seeing things like folks like Bruce we saw in the highlights reel, employees from SolidWorks, top-notch presenters from user groups are going to be presenting the best tips and tricks to enhance your work experience working with SolidWorks tools. It's going to be a very similar experience. There's going to be a ton of content and a ton of educational material that you can take away that's going to immediately impact you in your job. I think the biggest thing is it's free for anybody. And I think that's really exciting. So folks who may not have been able to travel to a destination event in the past, it may have been limiting from their time off of work or cost prohibitive, anybody can attend this year. So that's actually really exciting for everyone.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on there. And, I think one of the best parts about it being virtual is that, you have access to literally everything. I mean, even if you, in the past 3D Experience Worlds, like if you wanted to go to one event, but it was on top of another event that you also wanted to go to, you kind of had to miss out a little bit. If you were watching our stream SolidWorks Live, sometimes you got to catch some of those things like on our YouTube channel later. But for the most part, it's kind of like, you're either there or you're not there. So I think one of the cool things about it being virtual is, it's on demand basically. So you get to go and check out any of the stuff you want to do. And that also includes Model Mania, which a lot of people have told me that, they wanted to participate in Model Mania, but sometimes the timing would conflict and certain things like that. So, with this year, make sure you follow those prompts when you register so you can be involved with the Model Mania in 3D Experience World 2021.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a special SolidWorks Live. So you had asked a question. I'll go back to your earlier question, Mark. You had asked, how is SolidWorks Live going to be involved this year? Obviously, because this is a virtual event that's going to be streaming both live and on demand, we don't want to capitalize on people's ability to view and participate in 3D Experience World. So instead, what we are going to do is we are going to do a pre-show highlight on February 4th, where you'll be able to tune in, kind of see some of the stuff that you can look forward to at the virtual event. These will be keynote speakers, special guests, maybe presenters from breakout sessions that we're going to have on there, and more. You had mentioned Model Mania. This is something that's changing quite a bit this year. So I encourage you to tune in, understand how both the 3D Experience Works Challenge and Model Mania are going to differ. I encourage you, if you have not registered already and you think you're going to participate in one of these two events, go register today. So again, I'm going to throw that URL up there so our viewers at home don't miss it. It's solidworks.com/3DXW21-virtual. Go register. It's free. And if you think you want to participate in Model Mania or the 3D Experience Design Challenge, go sign up for those. There's going to be some special instructions specifically for those two events. Now, Mark, I think we also might have some other like special pieces of the broadcast that are sort of coming back that everybody can enjoy this year. Can you give us any insight as to maybe something fun that's happening at 3D Experience World this year?
Something fun, like give me a little bit more of a hint, I guess.
Like maybe a demo nobody would want to miss or something like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much going on. And I'm like, wait, hold on. What does he mean? Yeah, absolutely. So I would highly recommend checking out something called Don't Miss This Demo. It may be an opportunity for you to check out some of the new features that are going to be released in the 3D Experience Works portfolio in 2022. That also includes SolidWorks 2022 as well. So make sure that you don't miss that. It's hard to miss because it's called Don't Miss This Demo. So don't miss it because I think you'll really enjoy it.
There was a lot of brain power that went into coming up with that name and making sure that people were sure to tune in to that specific piece of content there. So one last thing I want to throw in there, you mentioned, Mark, this being an on-demand session. So yes, it is on demand and you will be able to log in and watch anything you want, but at the specific time slots, like 3D Experience World in the past, when a breakout session is taking place, the presenter of that breakout session will be participating live in chat and doing live Q&A throughout that breakout session. So if you are debating between 3 different breakouts at a specific time slot, make sure you tune in live to the one you want to get the most out of. You'll be able to go back and watch the other ones at any time you want, but if you want to engage in live Q&A, I highly encourage you to tune in at that specific time to that specific breakout session.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's exactly like what we do here in SolidWorks Live, because of course you can always go to our YouTube channel and check out the playlist for all the different events we do at SolidWorks Live. But being there live means you get to participate in the chat and ask us questions. So yeah, absolutely great point, Jeremy.
Yeah, so I'm just checking the questions here really quick. These are really specific modeling questions we have at the moment. I might come back to those in a little while. So, so you had also asked about SolidWorks Live. Obviously SolidWorks Live was a big part of this. I mentioned the pre-show. We are also going to have a post-show the week after 3D Experience World. So if we take a look at that calendar, we can see 3D Experience World is going to be the week of the 8th through the 11th. We are going to be hosting SolidWorks Live on both the 4th and the 18th of that month. So you may notice we've talked about Thursdays. So those will be those Thursdays at 11 a.m. I want to quick take we've been talking about SolidWorks Live. Why don't we go back and stay with me, Mark? Let's take a look at SolidWorks Live beyond 3D Experience World and some of the things that we got to participate with over the past year. So to get started, we want to talk about from idea to a startup with SolidWorks. And to do this, I want to invite 2 guests onto SolidWorks Live today. We have both Emilio Lopez, the CEO of SOP Technologies, the video you just saw before we started, and Jillian Friot, the program manager for 3D Experience Works for startups. Thank you, Emilio and Jillian, both for being here today.
Thanks for having me. So talking to the manufacturers in the maker spaces, I learned about SolidWorks, and I believe it was someone from Moonlighter, Miami, that told me that SolidWorks has an entrepreneurs program for the 3D experience, so we can actually obtain licenses for free in order to try out the software and take our business to the next level.
I am back to the Waltham office near Boston. So we started coming back to the office last week at a lower reduced capacity with the social distancing and so on. I'm a little bit lonely, but it's good to be back.
You're absolutely right. So on this bottom, we want to put a hole in there. As opposed to me reinventing the wheel and trying to figure that out, let's go and do a search. So here I'm searching on the 3D Experience platform for the old lower bracket. I don't know what the number was. I don't know where it was stored. I don't know any of that information, but I do know it was called lower bracket.
The flow basically is associate to professional, and then professional, the advanced topic exams, or the advanced professionals we call them, those kind of lie with a professional, and then we have some specialty exams are at that level. If there's one way to do something in SolidWorks, there's 10 different ways to do it, right? And so what we're trying to flesh out is the most robust or the most efficient way.
So drive down the backlog, to 10% of what it was when we started. So an aggressive target.
If we want to get even more stealthy, there's some items here at the top of the screen, our quick access tools, that we might also want to, just kind of remove from the user interface to reduce some clutter. And so here we can put those in the command manager now, and those are kind of hidden from the screen as well, just sort of minimizing our user interface.
From there, we set up some goals, we mesh, we solve, and we can start processing the results. And especially with Free Surface, we're doing a transient analysis, so the Transient Explorer really makes it easy to visualize these results, especially the mixing that's going on here.
You're a video gamer, aren't you? One in the chat.
One in the chat. I tried to sneak that in there, so.
I can't help but look back and think of all the fun times we got to have being on this show. Sometimes I forget that this is actually part of my job. It's just a really cool opportunity. I get to, we as a group get to meet so many cool customers that are doing really cool things with our technology. We saw the folks from SOP Technologies. We had Charles O'Connell on from Swear Robot, which we focused on during our entire launch of SolidWorks Desktop this year. We talked about new technology with you, Mark. We talked about 3D Experience SolidWorks back in July. We had the whole SolidWorks Desktop launch in September with all those new features. We talked certification, entrepreneurship programs. We've done so many really cool things on SolidWorks Live. And again, you had a really cool opportunity to participate in these. Tell me about your experience coming on SolidWorks Live to share with our audience new and cool technology.
Yeah, and I mean, just to echo what you said, I mean, I love those customer stories. I love, hearing about, what our end users are doing and how it's transforming their businesses. So I think that's some of the coolest stuff. But yeah, absolutely. Here on SolidWorks Live, you get one of the first looks at, some of the new technologies that are coming out. So yeah, like back in July with 3D Experience SolidWorks. So we released that, and we even had Jean Paulo come on and kind of give us a quick overview of what that means, for you as a user and as a business, just basically taking the power of SolidWorks that you already know and enjoy and enhancing that with the 3D Experience platform so that you can have your data there, which is accessible, but also secure, and you can collaborate with the rest of your team and even people outside of your team. So it really just takes SolidWorks core and brings it to that next level, which is really amazing. So it's really cool to be able to introduce those technologies, to you, our audience. And then also, as well as being able to deliver, like you said, Jeremy, the what's new content. So we were able to deliver what's new 2021. And that was a really fun stream. And I think one of the big things that I got from that was that, we are absolutely on the right track, and our development team is really on the right track because they're listening to you guys, and they're saying, okay, what do we really need to focus on? And in SolidWorks 2021, they really focused on performance and quality improvements, and it really shows. When we did that stream, we had so many positive responses from you that said, thank you so much for really focusing on this part of the application and making our day-to-day work that much better, that much more productive. And so it's really cool to be able to deliver that and then also get feedback live at the same time. What a great experience.
Yeah, SolidWorks Live is a very cool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I was going to say, that's so much stuff packed into a single year, but I'm kind of also interested again, like, how does this look for us next year for SolidWorks Live? And are you going to have me on SolidWorks Live again?
Absolutely, Mark. I don't see SolidWorks Live moving forward without you or, other members of this expanded team. We get to see behind the curtains. We have lots of new products coming out. We, in January, are going to be telling a very cool story about how you can take your SolidWorks engineering data and moving that forward. One of the things that's not changing is SolidWorks Live is still going to continue to be focused on great customer stories, bringing on special guests to highlight new product releases, new capabilities, and how to use these tools in your everyday workflows. I think the one thing that's changing is we will be moving to a significantly more consistent schedule. If we go back to that calendar we saw before, we're going to see SolidWorks Live is going to drop into, every 4 weeks, we're going to be bringing you a live broadcast like this, where you can participate in the conversation. We'll be looking, and don't forget, make sure you go into the chat and ask any questions you have kind of about this topic. I saw some good ones coming in, but we're going to every 4 weeks, kind of starting right at our 3D Experience World, we're going to set up that cadence of bringing you content every month. I know we already have what we're scheduled for March is going to be really exciting. I think we're going to be actually cutting some steel or aluminum live on the show. We're actually going to try to take advantage of this virtual experience. So some very cool stuff coming out. January 14th, as I mentioned, we're going to show how you can take your engineering data way further than what you ever thought possible. So Mark, the big thing is we're going to set into a standard cadence. SolidWorks Live will continue to be available on multiple platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, live.solidworks.com. I think it's going to be a really fun and exciting year with all the new stuff coming that we see behind the curtains kind of coming out as the year moves forward.
Well, I'll definitely be tuning in every Thursday to see some sort of content from SolidWorks Live for sure.
All right, so I want to jump to some of the questions here. Some of these are suggestions; they're not always questions. I see from YouTube from Abdur Rahman, and I apologize if I'm getting the name wrong. It says, apart from the Thursday sessions, could we organize some voluntary design sessions, student model mania challenges, or specific design challenges in 2021? I personally think that's an amazing idea, and I think that's something our producer, who I know is watching these questions, should copy that down and put that in a note, because I think that's a fantastic idea right there. So if our producer can quick grab that note so we don't lose that. And then from YouTube as well, from Mondo Lastraca, we say, hey guys, is it possible to have a video using a passenger airbag as an example of how to model, then simulate? I think this is a great question for our next guest that we're going to have on, Andrew Gross. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about SolidWorks Live Design and what that is. But let's take a quick look back at what Live Design was for 21 episodes earlier this year.
So cheers, everyone who's tuning in. Welcome to the live stream. I am going to need your help today on this presentation. So quick question for the chat. What unit system do you want to use? So if you're in the chat, let me know. Oh, what's up, Nuno? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you in here. Always get some great questions from Nuno, so appreciate seeing you in here. Oops, I picked, sorry about that. I inadvertently picked the face of the other fillet. So now this is two separate discrete faces, and then I would just try it again. Face, right mouse button, face, change this to hold line. No, not hold line. Chord width, and we're rolling.
And I'm going to go down with it. Now this isn't actually part of my model. What this is going to be construction geometry. Basically, I'm creating construction geometry to control the rest of these surfaces. And now I'll go tangency to face, tangency to face, tangency to face. Another cool thing is you can actually get some intermediate controls on. You can get controls on the intermediate profile with a the boundary, and you can't do that with a loft.
Okay, so what happens, what shape do you see when I turn this way? Now watch what happens when I put a mirror behind it. This is when things get totally wild. Look at that. 1/10 of a millimeter at a time, takes a little longer, but I can have real precise movement and just line it up perfectly. Again, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm using rotate about floor, which is my rotating tool. It's really nice for the ambiguous cylinder. When I rotate, look at that, it's so cool. I still think it's cool after all these years of playing with these things. I love it.
Let me show you some pictures of the finished work here. This is pretty much the last summer's project that we had. So when you're working with patterns, there's a couple of options that you got here. Okay, I'm going to work with my linear pattern tool. You can use spacing and instances where you can actually just space them out and count how many instances you want to use. In my case, I use up to reference. I love this feature inside patterns. And notice that we have the option for a solar axis study. This gives me the option to either choose fixed date, variable time, or the opposite, what I had done. But look at this right here. This bar right here allows you to see at what time of the day more or less the shadow is. So again, if I go to about what we have right now, 1 o'clock, I kid you not, this is what I can probably see from here. And like I said, I wish I could take the camera to the back and show you.
So to talk about SolidWorks Live Design, a look back in both what we're doing with it in SolidWorks what we're doing with it in 2021, I'd like to invite Andrew Gross to the show. Andrew, welcome.
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? Well, really happy to be here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for letting me join you. How's it going?
Yeah, so it's cool to look back at SolidWorks Live Design. It came during a very strange time in 2020. Can you talk a little bit about where SolidWorks Live Design came from, kind of what the format was? It was probably a little bit different for folks who've never tuned into it before.
Yeah, for sure, Jeremy. I mean, the timing was, it was late March, and, so many of our live in-person events, we had to cancel them. So many of us are now, working from home, and we knew that was probably going to continue for a little while. So we thought, well, how can we engage our users, more virtually, and maybe not just do kind of simple webinars, maybe have more of a connection with our audience with these live streams. So the whole idea was, design something starting from nothing, just design a part or an assembly from scratch. And we thought it was just a really cool way to connect with our audience, educate a little bit here and there. And like, as you saw from the little teaser reel that Jeremy showed, our topics were all over the map. Toby started out where he was designing a coffee mug, and most people thought, a coffee mug, boy, that's nothing. That's so easy to design. But in the course of designing a coffee mug, he shows everything from beginner SolidWorks techniques all the way through to like very advanced SolidWorks techniques. And of course, Andy Barnes with his starting off in his Arctic snowboarding gear, and then create, the snowboard oven, the wax oven, which, Jeremy, I can't believe you didn't put your segment in there where you created the packaging for that snowboard, that wax iron. That was so awesome.
I appreciate it. I think people see enough of my mug on SolidWorks Live. I really wanted to highlight some of my favorite moments from there. I thought, when Juan Chapa was doing the solar study and actually showing his actual house was really cool. There's so much stuff, we didn't get to show. We had Steve Fick did this really cool like gardening box. Jordan Todich did the stairs that he actually did on the front of his house. Mike Sandy showed how he designed his desk. These were like a lot of like personal projects. People were taking on those challenges at that time. So it was like perfect for the moment, for sure. And I think it was a really cool opportunity for these technical geniuses at our company to engage with the audience viewing at home.
Yeah, our technical team, we're also all kind of tinkerers and, DIYers. We like to build stuff in our house. And when the kind of call came out, it's like, hey, does anyone want to do this? It's like we all just like rose our hand. I had a second idea I wanted to do. I redid this credenza and did it all in SolidWorks and built a bunch of parts. I mean, there was so much activity in our tech team to do one of these live designs that, many of us didn't even get a chance to do some of our ideas, but I was lucky enough to do one, which was really, really fun.
Well, Andrew, I think you're going to have a chance to do that, but I wanted to point out, I missed this in the first two segments. If you didn't get a chance to watch live design, all of those episodes were recorded. They are available on our YouTube channel. If you go to our playlist, just look for SolidWorks Live Design. You'll see all 21 episodes that we ran in 2020. You'll be able to go back and watch them. Obviously, you can't participate live in the chat. They're recorded. But I should mention the other two segments. Both this show, SolidWorks Live, has its own playlist on our YouTube channel, and all of the live broadcasts from 3D Experience World, those also have their own playlist. So I forgot to mention that earlier, but if you want to watch any of these programs we're talking about today, you can always go back and watch them after the fact. Now, Andrew, there was a question in the chat about, could somebody show how to model a part and do a simulation on it? You mentioned potentially having a second idea for a live design. You think we'll have an opportunity to show more live design in 2021?
I do, Jeremy. And I think that we've taken a really successful and cool format, and I think it's even going to get better in 2021. The first series of live design, the person who was also the presenter was also the demoer, was also the host and the producer. So there was a lot to do when you were doing live design. And sometimes, that chat would come through, which was the coolest part about live design, is interacting with your audience in that chat. And there were so many times, I can just remember my own personal experience when I was doing live design. I think a lot of questions and comments came through that I just didn't have a chance to address. And I would have really loved to interact more with the audience. So in 2021, we're going to have a separate presenter from host. And that host, the cool thing about having a host is the host can really connect that presenter to the audience. They can really look through the chat. They can kind of be a conduit, so to speak, of the audience and the users, and funnel that right back to the presenter. So we took a very interactive format of live stream on YouTube, and we're going to hopefully try to even amplify the interaction in 2021. I'm really excited about what we can do, and hopefully I'll get a chance to showcase this credenza that I rebuilt and redesigned some parts and put together in April. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really exciting about this, and maybe it's not as obvious to our audience, you talked about it. In 2020, the person presenting they had to come up with the demo, they had to run the software, they had to interact with the audience. It was kind of scary for a lot of people to take on this challenge. It's hard to be able to do all that. Here on Live, we have a production crew in the back that they handle the cameras, they do all that. Somebody's grabbing questions, putting them in something for us. That's hard to do when you're by yourself. This host is going to really improve that overall engagement and experience. And what that's done is that's opening the door for some of the best talent we have in our company, taking away all those barriers. So you're going to see some really exciting how to use SolidWorks in really cool ways coming in 2021.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the new format. Across our technical team, there's going to be lots of really cool stuff that we're going to show, and maybe even not even having to start out with an individual part. Maybe we can even showcase other products like simulation or SolidWorks Composer. I think we're going to kind of open the field up a little bit to not only topics, but even the kinds of SolidWorks tools that we're going to be using to look at some of the problems. So I'm excited about that part too.
Yeah, I know our audiences. I've always looked through the chat. People love simulation, so maybe we always have we'll have this opportunity to show some more simulation. We did a little bit of it this year. We had Michael Steves on, Omar Zoni. They did some simulation stuff in there as well. So my point was to the question we had asked earlier, could somebody model an airbag? There's a question, or there's an idea for somebody who's going to participate in live design this year. That's half the challenge, coming up with what am I going to design for that? So maybe there's an opportunity there. I can't make any guarantees or promises, but there's an idea potentially out there. So
yeah, that's
Andrew,
a great idea. Love it.
Yeah, I want to go ahead. I want to take a look at the questions here really quick. There's a question from Abdur Rahman. Again, I think he asked the question before. Can you create an online gallery where students, hobbyists, or professionals can showcase their designs? This would be a great platform for students to show off their to their future employers. So we have a couple places where you can go post and view this type of content. You can go to solidworks.com/community. I did not have a URL for this. We talked about this actually during our last SolidWorks Live broadcast. So if you want to go back to our YouTube channel, into the playlist, go to SolidWorks Live. It was all about communities. And in there, we shared some communities where you can go get engaged with, you can share your ideas. I also encourage you, there's a Facebook group, there's a SolidWorks Facebook group where people are always sharing their ideas there as well. So definitely get involved in those social channels, but definitely check out solidworks.com/community as a place where you can share that content as well. Andrew, so we talked a little bit about how the schedule of SolidWorks Live is changing in 2021. How is SolidWorks Live, or how is SolidWorks Live Design going to fit into this schedule?
Yeah, so it looks like SolidWorks Live will be kind of on like a once every 4 weeks type basis. And we mentioned, or Jeremy mentioned earlier, it's going to be, you know, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern is when it should trigger, oh, hey, there's some cool SolidWorks stuff coming, some cool SolidWorks Live stuff coming. So every 2 weeks will be SolidWorks Live Design, first one being February 25th, and then every 2 weeks after that. And then I don't want to steal the thunder from John Martirano, but what's coming after, coming next, John's going to talk a little bit about his segments that are also going to be on Thursdays, the one Thursday that we haven't talked about yet, which is exploring 3D experience, exploring 3D experience works. So yeah, every 2 weeks, starting February 25th, Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So really, really cool.
All right, Andrew. Well, I'm excited to see SolidWorks Live Design come back in 2021. I know a lot of the viewers of that program really enjoyed it, and I'm sure if they're tuning in today, they're really excited to see that that's going to be coming back. Keep in mind that date, February 25th. That just gives us time to wrap up 3D Experience World. We'd love to get started on it sooner, but we all are participate. A lot of us are the people we would want to participate in live design also have to create content for those breakout sessions. So as soon as 3D Experience World is done, we have people who are excited to share their cool design stories with you. Thanks,
Wow.
Andrew,
Yeah.
for joining us. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. If you
No, that's it. That's it. Yeah, really happy to be here. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
All right, Andrew, hang on. We may have some questions for you. I know this is a hot topic, so stay on the line. And when we get to the end, if I have any questions, I'll come back to you. I'd like to bring on John Martirano now to talk about a brand new program for our live streaming series, Exploring 3D Experience Works. John, welcome to SolidWorks Live.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm really excited to be here.
So, John, we're talking about a new program for our live streaming series, but Exploring 3D Experience Works isn't new at all, is it? Can you tell us a little bit about what the program has been?
Yeah, absolutely. So this initially started with a webinar series that I co-host with Gian Calisi, who's also an industry process consultant. We're out of the same office. We have a lot of fun together. So this was a series where we just basically started using XShape and XDesign, which are two apps that are fully cloud-based. And here you can see as an example of a caulking gun that we made entirely in the cloud. And from here, it's just kind of expanded into different softwares offered in the 3D Experience Works portfolio. So the series has evolved over the year, and it will continue to do so in 2021.
Now, we're doing live broadcasts. You had mentioned that this was a webinar previously. That's correct? That's kind of how you've done this before?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we started out with some live design workflows, and we've kind of moved towards, and as you can see us on screen here, you can see this is what we did before. We're in our bedrooms right now. So we're also trying to up that production quality just a little bit, and kind of bring like a studio presentation to our viewers. But yeah, so we also incorporate some PowerPoints as you see here. And, it's not the reason we do PowerPoints is really not uh, any other reason than that we just want to be able to express a story and show people, what the tools are capable of at a high level.
So, John, the focus of this program is really on the 3D Experience Works portfolio. These are going to be tools beyond SolidWorks that are really going to change the way our customers and future customers have the opportunity to take their engineering data in totally new directions, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the primary focus is on workflows. So it's really not necessarily, feature for feature. We do get into that sometimes, but oftentimes it's really just educating and really just exploring ourselves about what these tools can do and how your team can best utilize the functionality of the tools, whether or not that is some of the collaboration, the project planning. As you see, we have a viewer here where you wouldn't need a CAD license. You could just jump in as a manager and see some exploded views, do some markups right in the window here, and be able to communicate that back to your team in real time. So,
all right. So I liked what you mentioned. You guys are utilizing PowerPoint as a presentation. And I should mention, some people get scared when they hear webinar and PowerPoint. They think, oh my, I don't want to sit through that. You guys are really using it as a tool to tell a story more than anything. We use PowerPoint when we want to focus on telling the correct story. And we don't want to be focused on mispicking or clicking the wrong thing when we're showing technology. You guys are really doing the same thing. You're trying to show those viewers a workflow and make sure you convey that correct message, right?
absolutely, that is 100% the focus, and the benefit of that as well. We can also be more focused on engaging with our audience, which is really what we wanted to focus on 2021. One of the examples you'll see on the screen right now is actually a PowerPoint where we kind of go in the day's session. So here's today's plan, and we just make sure before we even jump into the design tools that we make sure that everybody understands why we're showing the workflow that we're showing and where it fits in the engineering design process.
Cool. So these are some of the things you have now. Can you tell me really quick, is there some place where somebody could go if they wanted to see what you guys have done before? I know we had mentioned they were webinars before. Did we record those and put those anywhere where somebody can go back and watch them?
Absolutely. So I'm not the best at memorizing links, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have a link. And I know it's a long one, but this is where you can find all the webinar recordings. It's actually a website that just kind of explains what the whole webinar series is about. And that's going to be under construction in 2021 as well. But you might get this idea that it's just a little bit different of a webinar series than what you're used to, just because Gian and I like to keep it light as well, and we like to have fun with it. So if you want to come have fun with us, we're more than happy to have you.
All right. So a tip here, if you're looking for that website and you didn't get to write that down, if you search for Exploring 3D Experience Works Live, that's the first link that pops up. So really easy to do that there. We'll try to get a short URL in the future. We'll put that link probably in the description below this video after the fact too. So, so you guys are going from this webinar series to a live series. Can you tell us a little bit both about what that transition is going to be like for you, how you're going to take advantage of the live format or the webinar format?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said before, we really wanted to be able to communicate with our audience. And I know Andrew Gross had mentioned it. the live chat. It's really invaluable. We want to be able to get real-time feedback from our audience, and we also like to have them drive the conversation sometimes. Let us know what you want to see maybe in future sessions, and we really just like that engagement. And we're just really excited about being able to get more eyes on the content and have fun with it.
Well, John, there's actually a question from Facebook from Gafar Fofana. I hope I pronounced that right. Said, hello, I'm a SolidWorks user. I would like to know how to work on the SolidWorks 3D cloud-based version. So these would be tools like 3D Experience SolidWorks, 3D Creator, 3D Sculptor, Sheet Metal Creator, and other tools like that. Could you enlighten me on the subject, please? Now, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but your new series, Exploring 3D Experience Works, is going to be the perfect place for somebody like him to tune into to learn more about these tools, right?
Absolutely. I saw that comment in the chat, and definitely. And I'm not going to give too much away here, but on January 28th, this might be a workflow we're actually kicking things off with. So I won't give too much away, but stay tuned for that.
So you mentioned January 28th. We've been kind of talking about this calendar of live production that we're going to be delivering to our customers. Can you give us a little bit of insight where Exploring 3D Experience Works fits into this schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of moving to a once a month now broadcast, whereas previously with the webinar, it was every 2 weeks. One of the benefits of this is that we're able to focus on creating one session a month and really pouring all of our efforts into creating engaging content, whereas maybe every 2 weeks was a little bit more rushed. So we're really excited to be able to have some more time to be able to express creativity, create some new data sets, show some new examples, invite some new guests. And we're definitely excited to be a part of this content calendar once a month. So we're super excited.
Well, John, we are excited to be bringing a brand new live broadcast to our viewers at home as well. I'm sure this is something they'll be really excited to participate in. So for everybody tuning in at home, let's go back and take a look. We have a ton of content scheduled here for 2021. Every single Thursday, 11 a.m., you're going to have something that you can tune into to engage with us in a live format, whether that's going to be SolidWorks Live like you're watching today, whether it's Exploring 3D Experience Works with John and Gian, and every other week kind of filling in those gaps, we're going to be bringing live design back, a big, huge favorite of our audience there. So we were really excited today, not only to kind of look back at a lot of the fun and engaging stories we've been able to share with you over this past year of 2020, but we're just as excited looking forward into 2021 at all the great new live content we're going to bring you. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring all our guests back on, John, Andrew, and Mark. I want to quick go through the questions here. I don't see a ton of questions. Here's a good one. Again, this would be a great one for our producer. These are more suggestions. A suggestion for live design. What about a simple design assembly where the design starts from concept part modeling, assembly, simulate, creating bombs, applying GD&T, and rendering the finished part? Andrew, can you provide any insight? You briefly said we might be expanding the scope of what we'll cover in live design. Can you give any more clarity to that?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea. That's taking a design all the way from design, soup to nuts, all the way to manufacturing. When you're talking about every step in between design validation, then GD&T to actually have something either machined or manufactured. That is definitely in the spirit of how we want to see SolidWorks live design when it comes back on February 25th. I love that idea. And it really does showcase the breadth of SolidWorks. I've just taken something from beginning all the way to the end. I love it.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing things like that. I know you and I have kind of bounced ideas back and forth, like where can this go in the future? Could we bring multiple presenters on and do a live collaborative design. So the floodgates are open, right? To say that we could do a lot more things with live design, right, Andrew?
Yeah, the new format, exactly what you're saying, Jeremy. I mean, it could be multiple headed people working together, let's just say on a design, or different people tackling different elements of a design as it progresses. And, you know, like I said, like Jeremy just mentioned, multiple presenters, could be multiple webcams. And at the core of it, it's more interactive with that host. You know, to echo again what John Martirano was saying about interacting with the chat, which we think, as the presenter, that's the most fun part for us. And we hope that as the audience, that's the most exciting part for you, is asking us questions and then we answer them live. So the host separate from the presenter, well, it just will enable that more.
Cool. Mark Peterson, it's been a while since you've been on there. I don't really have any questions, but I want to ask, is there anything that you're looking forward to in 2021 when it comes to these live broadcasts? I know you're usually involved in a couple of the big ones that we do throughout the years, or anything that you're looking forward to? I know the next year's not even here yet, and there's a lot to it, but is there anything on the horizon that maybe you're interested in?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff. I mean, 2021 is going to be a really exciting year, especially as I get to introduce, you know, new products to everyone. But a lot of the projects that we already have, like the ones that you mentioned before, 3D component creator, or 3D creator, 3D sheet metal creator, a lot of these roles that we already have are constantly getting more and more development poured into them. Way more features, just rounding out those capabilities. And again, these tools run in the browser on any device that's connected to an internet, that has an internet connection. So that means you can run that, of course, on your, you know, SolidWorks computer that, you know, has great graphics card and everything in there. But you can also run it on a thin and light notebook, a touchscreen device, a tablet, your phone. You can run it on all these different, you know, different devices. So, you know, this is something that's super exciting to me, and I'm really excited about diving into the new features that come out with these. And, you know, it occurs to me now, back to, I think, Gafar's question about, you know, where can you kind of get started with some of these cloud-based apps? Well, I would go to solidworks.com/transform and take a look, because at that website, you can click on a button. It's got a free trial, so you can try out these different products and see, you know, does that really fit what you're trying to do? Especially as we're doing a lot of more sort of working from home and that sort of thing. Flexibility is key. And so being able to just work on any device, log into the browser and be able to do your CAD work, do some free form shaping with X shape and that sort of thing, is really powerful stuff. And so if you are interested in tools like that, I would definitely recommend checking out that website, solidworks.com/transform, and grabbing that free trial. I think you'll really be blown away.
All right, Mark. Sounds like John should be looking at having you as a guest on his show as well, especially because they're going kind of deep into some of those tools.
Yeah, I would love that, and also to be on live design again. That'd be fun too.
Yeah. John, anything you're excited about? I know we just got done talking to you, and it sounds like everything is new for you this year. So I have to imagine that everything is probably pretty new and exciting moving forward into 2021.
Absolutely, yeah. I would say the thing I'm looking forward to most would have to be, as you said, Jeremy, we have a lot of talented people that work for this company, and the way that they can display the tools and, you know, the new use cases for these tools never cease to amaze me. So I'm so looking forward to some live design and just seeing some awesome data sets this year.
All right. Well, I want to thank each one of my guests for joining me here today. Mark Peterson, Andrew Gross, and John Martirano. I appreciate you all taking time out of your day to come and kind of look back, reflect at this, you know, the thing that we love to do most, and that's engage with our customers, whatever way that is, whether that, you know, was in person, kind of turned to virtual this year. It's really important to us that we continue to stay engaged with our customers moving forward, because, you know, they're the most they're what are the most rewarding part of this job for everybody. So to those tuning in at home, thank you for staying part of the SolidWorks virtual experience as we've kind of gone through this year. And we look forward to bringing you more in 2021. So again, we have SolidWorks Live coming up on January 14th. We're going to be looking at a really cool workflow with a very cool product. We're going to be showing a lot of great tools. John's new program is going to kick off on January 28th. And then we have 3D Experience World shortly after in February, where we are going to do a pre and post show, and then we'll get into that full schedule. So if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that bell notification icon just so you get that reminder whenever we go live. If you're joining us on Instagram today, make sure you follow us there, connect with us on LinkedIn, and like us on Facebook. And until next time, stay safe, everyone. We'll see you later.